Bige Tuncer is an associate professor of design computation and an associate head of pillar at the architecture and sustainable design pillar of Singapore University of Technology and Design. She received her PhD from Delft University of Technology, her MSc from Carnegie Mellon University, and her BArch from Middle East Technical University. She was an assistant professor at TU Delft, a visiting professor at the Chair of Information Architecture at ETH Zurich, and a visiting scholar at MIT. Her main research interest is evidence-informed design processes. Very appropriate for this panel. Welcome, BA. As we did in the first panel, we begin our panel discussion with each of our four panelists briefly presenting one slide in 3 minutes that captures some important aspect of the 15-minute city. And again, to help our panelists stay on time, there's a countdown on the top left of the slide. So let's start with Bige.
Thank you so much. We have talked about cities, 15-minute cities, and I want to focus on the public spaces, the public realm within these cities. And cities are hubs for interaction among the inhabitants, and these interactions have been proven to drive liveliness, innovation, culture, and economic welfare in various scales of the city. In order to facilitate these interactions in public spaces, we must facilitate various population groups with varied backgrounds to interact in these spaces. And of course, density is a prerequisite for this. And density, as mentioned before, has almost everything to do with access to various resources within the city. This is qualitative as well as quantitative. And density needs to be designed for these various groups of people with varied backgrounds. In the computational realm, we build models to support an inclusive design of density from the point of view of pedestrians. And this needs to include some very important questions when we are designing and implementing these models. Which behavioral hypotheses can be drawn from specific urban data sets and their combination, as well as what is the relationship of these with spatial and organizational aspects of urban spaces that we are designing or changing. So in this approach, we go from data-driven design to a concept which we name design-driven data, where design is primarily seen as a process with stakeholder participation, placemaking, and collective learning with data, where buildings also act as sources for generating data and information, and designers also act as mediators for transforming this data into evidence to support these interactions. So in this case, data-driven design or design-driven data needs to integrate big data, user comfort and perception, and designer knowledge for human interaction in neighborhoods and cities. This will then support, if we refer back to the first panel, Carlos's presentation, a multiplicity of choices in an informed way within computational design support platforms, using multiple scales from the block to the neighborhood, all the way to the city. In the image that we see here, we have started to scratch the surface about integrating these very qualitative aspects and quantifying them to reflect the various viewpoints and needs of various stakeholders in computational platforms. Thank you.